Hi everyone, welcome again to this channel, the mentioned Construct-preneurs and tutors, your go-to channel for everything construction, engineering, calculations, and also site experience. So today we're looking at a very critical topic, which is the checklist for block laying supervision for engineers and professionals. Most people think they already know these things, but then there are so many hidden things that needs to be checked to ensure that you achieve whatever you need. If whether it is the straightness of the block, it is the size, correct sizing, the alignment, everything needs to be checked to make sure that the quality is as expected, right? So we'll be looking at just a quick description of what we are going to be looking at. So when you see a block wall on construction site, it might look too simple just by just stacking blocks and spreading mortar. But any seasoned engineer knows that poor block laying supervision can cause crack, misalignment, weak joints, and costly rework. So this is just a summary of it. From the image you can see on the first image is a well aligned blocks with plumb and everything being checked, while the second image you see the misalignment, even the joints are not properly taken care of. They're just left like that. So to ensure that this doesn't happen, because once you give the workmen these things to do, they're just interested in their money. They do whatever they want to do and just get out of the site. But as a supervisor, you need to ensure that everything is okay, from the verticality to the alignment to the straightness to how neat the blocks are even laid. Okay, so let us understand what block walls are. From the definition I have here, block walls refers to construction techniques used to stack blocks or bricks made from a mixture of cement, sand, gravel in some cases, and water, that are bonded with mortar to form walls, foundations, or partitions. This is just telling you that block wall are made up of sand, cement, water, and then in some block, because of what you want to do, gravel, these smaller sizes, stone dust are also used. Then so they are used for partitions, they are used to form walls or foundations and the rest. So these blocks provide structural strength, thermal mass, and fire resistance. Some places it even help in what is the name, preserving the environment of that place. If it is hot or it is cold, there are reasons why we use hollow solid blocks and also hollow blocks. So okay, so let's go straight to what we plan on doing. The checklist for block supervision. Number one thing you're going to do is preliminary checks before block work. Before even doing anything, you need to check certain things. So first thing you need to check is the block. Am I using the correct size of block? Is the block okay? Is it uniform? Is it square? So solid, you want to use solid blocks, you want to use hollow blocks. What do you want to use it for? Partitioning, load bearing walls, and then even the mortar you want to use. Commonly we use 1:6. Is the mortar enough to form this bond? Like, is it properly mixed? Is it clean water you're using to make your mixture? So all these things are things you need to check before even doing it, because if the materials, quality of materials is not okay, then you just know that the result you're supposed to get will not be okay. So you need to check the materials. That's the preliminary checking of each of those materials. Now the next thing is to do setting out, also the preliminary checking. So you're setting out to confirm that the wall lines are whether you use profiles or use the laser lines or the string lines. Ensure that they are on correct alignment on the grid line according to how it is in the drawings. You check for the partitionings, the openings, the windows, the doors, the column positions. Everything must align with what we have in the drawing. Those are the preliminary checks. If not, you will just be laying blocks and at the end you have to start removing them. Also ensure that these ones you are setting out, the blocks are at right angle, they are vertical and at right angle, because that is where problem will start from. Once the blocks are not properly aligned, problem will start from there. Tilers will have problem with that. People that want to screed the wall also have problems with that. So we need to ensure that the setting out is perfect. Now the number two checklist on our checklist is preliminary checks during block wall. You know, the first one is preliminary checks before block wall. You need to check the size of the block, and the other one is preliminary checks during the block wall. So first thing is to first course accuracy. Now I used to hear most masons tell you this first block doesn't matter jare, plaster will cover it up. No, do not accept that as a construction supervisor. You ensure that the first layer is perfectly level and vertical. Also the mortar that is used, you ensure that it is of the same thickness. One thing that most people fail to do is wetting the ground and also the block while trying to lay the first course, because these two elements are already dry. The only wet something among them now is the mortar. And once you lay your mortar on the floor, it takes it out, it sucks it. So you need to ensure that it is clean. You clean the surface so that there is bond between the ground, that is the slab, and the block wall before you even start doing that. If not, you just have a wall that is already, that's not bonded with the ground, and then it's, after some time it falls off. So another thing is bonding and alignment. Now look at the images. You can see the way the walls are aligned. They are not stacked just vertically. The lines or the joints are overlapping, and that's the stretcher bond that we're using there. So we need to use the plumb and alignment of the spirit level to check the plumb and also the alignment using the spirit level or lisa, depending on the case, right? So for maybe 3 or 4 courses, you check that this alignment is still what it is and it has not skewed. If not, you need to correct it immediately. So all these things are things that we need to check: the bonding, the alignment, the quality of your mortar joining it together, right? Now okay, so the next one is the joint quality. This is to ensure that the blocks are properly bonded using the mortar, because as you are laying the blocks, you have space to include mortar. That mortar joins the blocks together. Ensure that it is neat. You remove excess mortar immediately, and also fill those joints, especially the parts where you don't have enough mortar. You ensure that you have the mortar enters into it, because if the joint um is not of good quality, then the block is as good as nothing. You just have block stacked without any joint, right? So the quality of the joint must also be checked. So these are the things you need to check for the preliminary checks during the block wall. The the quality of the first course, you need to check that the joint quality, you need to check the bonding and alignment, ensure that everything is as it suppose to be. Now the quality control checks. So after ensuring these two things, you need to, there are certain things you need to do continuously to ensure that what you have checked is okay, and then every other thing can now go on. Like the level and height checks, you measure the height and cost count regularly. Ensure that they've not laid more than, the mason has not laid more than where it's supposed to get, especially for openings where you have windows, you have doors. Ensure that they are okay according to how the drawing has specified it. Also the verticality, you use the plumb or the spirit level to check the block every 4 or 5 courses, or 1.22 meters to 1.5 meters, as the case may be, to ensure that it is perfectly vertical. If not, you have to start correcting it, because if it's taking up that 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter that you are seeing, once it gets up, it expands, right? Then the curing, you also cure and clean all the joints, ensure that everything is neat the way it's supposed to be. So the next thing on your checklist is documentation. You need to keep daily logs of block work done, mortar ratio, manpower and weather conditions. These are very important, because without this you will not be able to track whether the number of blocks that was supplied was actually used, or they used more than what is supposed to be. You need to check that. Then you check the record of material delivery and usage to ensure that the quantity survey also tracks cost and estimate productivity, because without this we are just working with materials. All these materials have been calculated for, and ensure that everything is going to go as planned, right? And then if there is any defect in the work, you need to include it, write it down, that record it, that this is what it is, so that once there are claims for delay or extra works, you can actually have a document to show when it happened and whatever has happened. If it rains and maybe the rain spoilt the job that has been done, it needs to be recorded and the date needs to be there. So from the image there, you can see site manager or supervisor recording. And also you can see the other sheet. You have different logs, papers where you need to record daily usage of material, you need to record the weather condition, you need to record the material supplied. So there are so many things to record. It's not just about the technical aspect of it. Now you need to know how to manage whatever you have been supplied on site, and then give proper account of what you have been given on site. I hope that is clear. I hope you are following. So the next thing is we need to link with the quantity surveyor and project planning manager. So after doing these things, you are not doing your work in isolation. The quantity surveyor needs to be aware. The project planner also needs to be aware. So these of these items, you provide data for them. The material tracking and cost, just as I said, the documentation, productivity measure, how many blocks, how many masons are doing a particular block, so that we know if there is progress in the work, or we are using more people for lesser work. Then accurate valuation during payment certification, ensure that the work being done is in accordance to what we are valuing. We don't just pay because people have worked. You need to ensure that they've worked according to what is there and not according to what they plan to do. Then forecasting of materials for deliveries. So without these records, you will not be able to know when next to ask for requisition of materials to come, right? So all these things needs to be put in place to ensure that the block wall you are setting is okay, right? So when engineers, masons and quantity surveyors follow this checklist together, project runs smoothly, cost less and last longer. I know most of us are site people, or most people are site people. So what's the biggest challenge you face supervising block work on site? I'm asking you, what's the block? So just drop a comment in the comment section. Let's discuss further to know how we are going to tackle this issue, because people are building every day, buildings are being set up. So we need to ensure that these things are being curtailed. Like we make sure we monitor block setting and ensure that we have the best quality and then productivity. Thank you for watching this content. For more information or for more content about engineering, construction, site experience, kindly subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and also share the